When people think about California bikers, they imagine chrome glinting under the sun, leather jackets stitched with symbols that outsiders will never understand, and the rumble of Harleys echoing down coastal highways. They picture rebellion, freedom, and the unmistakable swagger of men and women who live on the open road. But beneath the roar of engines and the shine of metal lies a world built on hierarchy, loyalty, rules, and consequences. A world far more intricate and dangerous than Hollywood has ever shown. Tonight, we dive into that world, not to glorify it, not to romanticize it, but to understand it. The history, the culture, and the California clubs that shaped the outlaw biker scene, leaving an indelible mark on both the state and the nation. Buckle up. The roads we ride through today are paved with stories of blood, brotherhood, and freedom. And once we enter this world, nothing looks the same. The birth of California motorcycle culture. California didn't just witness the birth of outlaw bikers. It molded the image the world associates with them. The post-World War II era brought a wave of veterans returning to the West Coast, men who had seen combat and longed for adrenaline, brotherhood, and escape. Motorcycles became more than machines. They were symbols of independence, defiance, and identity. In the 1940s and 50s, clubs were mostly small, informal groups of riders sharing a love for speed, machines, and the open road. But the 1960s changed everything. The counterculture movement swept through California, intertwining with biker culture, and the state became a crucible for what would become the iconic outlaw lifestyle. Leather, chrome, patches, and unflinching loyalty. At the time, California's highways, deserts, and coastline provided the perfect backdrop for this emerging culture. Veterans brought discipline from the battlefield, a thirst for brotherhood, and a willingness to test the boundaries of law and society. Motorcycle clubs became refugees, places where men could belong, where freedom was measured in miles traveled, and where identity was inseparable from the machine beneath them. The Hells Angels, angels of chaos and legend. No discussion of California bikers is complete without the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. Founded in 1948 in Fontana, California, they weren't always the worldwide symbol of outlaw rebellion. But by the 1960s, under the leadership of Sonny Barger, the Hells Angels transformed into the face of outlaw motorcycle culture. The Angels didn't just ride. They created a structure, a hierarchy, and a code that demanded loyalty, courage, and discipline. Prospects weren't merely welcomed. They earned their place through tests of endurance, allegiance, and sometimes violence. Each patch told a story. Each chapter was a microcosm of law, order, and raw power. Their infamous rivalry with the Mongols, born in the 1970s, became one of the most violent and well-documented conflicts in biker history. From the streets of Los Angeles to the deserts of California, confrontations often turned deadly. One of the most infamous incidents, the 1977 River Run Brawl in Laughlin, Nevada, started as a local rivalry but escalated into a full-scale riot, leaving dozens injured and capturing national attention. Today, the Hells Angels operate globally, with chapters spanning over 30 countries. Yet their roots remain firmly planted in California, shaping the image of outlaw bikers for generations. Their red and white colors, iconic death head logo, and ceremonial rituals continue to symbolize rebellion and brotherhood worldwide. The Mongols, California's rebels. The Mongols Motorcycle Club emerged in Montebello in the early 1970s, founded by Vietnam veterans who had been rejected by other clubs due to race or background. They were disciplined, fearless, and ready to carve their own path. The Mongols weren't just another club. They were a direct challenge to the Angels, a statement that loyalty and skill mattered more than tradition or lineage. Their black and white patch, depicting a Mongol warrior wielding a sword, became a symbol of defiance. Their expansion wasn't just about territory, it was about reputation, strength, and respect earned through daring rides, confrontations, and a willingness to push boundaries. The Mongols became notorious for both their fierce internal loyalty and public clashes. The early 1980s saw intense territorial disputes with the Hells Angels in Southern California, including ambushes and street skirmishes that cemented their reputation as one of the most audacious clubs in the state. Over the decades, they've maintained a presence in California while also reaching internationally, cementing their place as a cornerstone of the West Coast outlaw scene. The Vagos, the Green Nation of the Southwest, founded in San Bernardino in the 1960s, the Vagos MC became synonymous with organization and discipline. Nicknamed the Green Nation for their distinctive green cuts and Norse-inspired Loki logo, the Vagos carved out territory across Southern California and into Mexico. Law enforcement often track them for their involvement in narcotics, weapons, and interclub conflicts. But beyond the headlines, the Vagos represented a different type of outlaw culture, calculated, strategic, and deeply tied to community identity. Their influence shaped the dynamic of California biker geography and established patterns that other clubs would follow. Events like the Riverside run-ins of the late 1970s illustrate their ability to consolidate power without drawing excessive media attention, a testament to their long-term strategy and discipline. Unlike more flamboyant clubs, the Vagos operated in a methodical manner, ensuring both survival and respect in a competitive landscape. The Outlaws, Midwest roots, West Coast presence. Although primarily based in the Midwest, the Outlaws MC expanded into California, bringing with them a hardline approach to the one-percenter lifestyle. Founded in 1935, the Outlaws were legendary for their motto, "God forgives, outlaws don't." In California, they became part of the intricate web of rivalries, alliances, and territorial claims that define the scene. Their long-standing feud with the Hells Angels became particularly intense in the 1970s and 80s, a conflict fueled by pride, territory, and decades-old grudges that still echo through biker lore. Turf disputes in San Diego and Orange County in 1984 became defining moments for West Coast Outlaws chapters, solidifying their reputation as uncompromising enforcers of their code. The roads that built legends. California's geography played a critical role in shaping its biker culture. From Route 66 and the Mojave Desert highways to the winding roads of the Pacific Coast Highway, the state offered both freedom and challenge. These roads weren't just transportation, they were proving grounds, stages for rebellion, and avenues for building reputation. The 29 Palms rides, desert rallies, and coastal runs along Big Sur became ritualistic proving grounds. Riders tested themselves against distance, weather, and terrain, but also against rival clubs and law enforcement. Legendary highways like the 101, the I-5, and the 405 became etched into biker lore. Every mile a story, every turn a testament to skill, daring, and brotherhood. The culture of patches, colors, and code patches are more than decoration. They are statements of allegiance, territory, and achievement. From full colors to prospect patches, every symbol carries weight, often representing years of loyalty, trials endured, and respect earned. Rules govern the clubs: disrespect the patch, disobey the code, or betray the brotherhood, and the consequences are immediate. Discipline within these clubs is brutal but structured. This code has allowed clubs like the Hells Angels, Mongols, and Vagos to survive decades of law enforcement pressure, internal conflicts, and societal change. Every ride, rally, or chapter meeting reinforces the code. Initiations can last months, testing endurance, secrecy, and loyalty. And for those who break it, punishment is swift and unavoidable, a reality that ensures the clubs maintain cohesion, discipline, and order. Feuds, alliances, and legendary conflicts. California biker history is defined as much by rivalries as by the individuals themselves. Hells Angels versus Mongols, Outlaws versus Angels, Vagos maneuvering between alliances. Each conflict isn't just a headline, it's a story of pride, survival, and identity. In the 1980s and 90s, the San Fernando Valley conflicts exemplified this culture. High-speed chases, rooftop surveillance, and borderland standoffs became normalized. These feuds weren't just about territory, they were about proving dominance, maintaining reputation, and upholding decades-old traditions. The legends behind the wheels California's biker scene isn't just about clubs, it's about the men and women who define them. Figures like Sonny Barger, Ralph Sonny Valencia, and leaders of the Mongols brought charisma, discipline, and vision to their clubs. They became symbols of the outlaw biker identity, living the code publicly, yet often mystifying outsiders with their rituals, loyalty, and internal politics. These individuals didn't just ride bikes. They shaped culture, mentored new generations, and navigated a world where law enforcement, rival clubs, and the open road constantly tested them. Women in the outlaw scene. While often overlooked, women have always played a crucial role in California biker culture. From club support and family networks to active involvement in rides and events, their influence has been foundational. Women in the scene are often both caretakers and active participants, maintaining the club's continuity while also asserting presence in a world dominated by men. Some women even held leadership roles in club-affiliated support networks, organizing events, mediating disputes, and managing logistics. Their impact is subtle but profound, ensuring the survival and cohesion of these subcultures. The modern era, technology, globalization, and continuity today, California bikers face a new landscape. GPS, social media, and global connectivity have changed how clubs operate. But while the methods may have evolved, the essence remains the same: loyalty, identity, and the open road. Younger members bring energy and innovation, but they inherit traditions that date back decades. Old rivalries persist, but so do celebrations of culture, heritage, and freedom. The California biker scene is not fading. It's adapting, evolving, and thriving in a modern context while remaining rooted in the past. Legacy and impact. California's biker culture has shaped not just local communities, but the global perception of outlaw motorcycling. Movies, books, and documentaries have immortalized clubs, but the real stories of loyalty, brotherhood, conflict, and the open road are even more compelling. These clubs function as societies within society, governed by rules, traditions, and consequences that outsiders rarely see. They are simultaneously feared, respected, misunderstood, and legendary, and their roads, the highways, deserts, and coastlines of California continue to carry their echoes. The cultural imprint is visible everywhere, from Hollywood films to music inspired by the rumble of engines, from documentaries chronicling club histories to local legends whispered in roadside diners and gas stations across the state. Conclusion. California bikers are more than a stereotype. They are a culture, a history, and a living legacy. From the first post-war riders to today's generation of motorcyclists, the state's roads have been the proving ground for some of the most famous, feared, and influential clubs in the world. Outlaw biker culture is built on steel, loyalty, and consequence. It survives because the code transcends time, the brotherhood endures, and the road always calls. Whether you see them as outlaws, rebels, or legends, one thing is certain: California's biker world is a story still being written, and the engine's rumble is far from silent. And as new generations mount their bikes, riding along the same highways, deserts, and coastlines that define the legends before them, the story continues, forever linked to the roads, the brotherhood, and the freedom that only California's open highways can offer.